Bonjour mes amis, voici une nouvelle vidéo de French Speak. Welcome to another video all about understanding French numbers better this time, les nombres. This is a very popular topic. Some of my students have learned how to say and recognize numbers, produce them when they come across them in written form, and use them in their speaking. However, when they have to understand French numbers in the middle of a conversation, it gets tricky. So I want to share with you a few tips on these French numbers. Tout d'abord, first of all, les nombres similaires, similar numbers. We have words that look quite similar. We have deux, douze, deux, douze. There's not much in common other than that d sound at the start. However, once it is in context, followed by another word, especially when it has a vowel or the letter H at the start, it triggers a liaison. And all of a sudden, you're having to decipher between two similar sounds. 2 ans, 12 ans. 2 ans, 12 ans. So if you were initially relying on the difference between a short sound, deux, and a longer sound, douze, with a very distinctive z, you're losing that edge when you have to have a liaison, because even to say 2 years, I did this when I was 2 years old, or I did this when I was 12 years old, is going to be a very different story to tell. 2 ans, now we have the z sound in there. So my tip for this one is to work on your e sound. The OU, ou, is quite easy for English speakers. It's like a double O in English, do. But the E is a sound to keep practicing. Deux ans, 2 ans. Another pair of similar numbers, nombre similaire, is trois, treize. The same thing happens. Trois, treize. When it's followed by a word that starts with a vowel or has a H in first position, we will say trois heures for 3 o'clock, and 13 heures for 1 p.m. 3 heures, 13 heures. So you're really having to work on this little vowel sound after the R, wa versus e, because the rest, zeur is the same, and the tr is the same. So the only way to distinguish these two is wa versus e. These are a bit easier to pronounce, so just make sure that when you're reading out loud, keep really making a different sound between your wa and your e, and then you'll be able to pick it up when you're having to understand those numbers. Bien. The next few numbers are tricky because not when they're by themselves, but when they're put in a sentence. For example, we have six. Six. By itself, pronounce it six. When it has a word that starts with a vowel or the letter H afterwards, we're going to have a Z liaison, six enfants. Six enfants. And when it's followed by a consonant, the X or the S sound disappears completely. Six parents. Six parents. So if you were to listen to someone say they have 6 of something, chances are you'll hear six something or just si. Si at the start, like six parents. So it makes it tricky to spot this number, because you're used to, your brain is expecting a longer sound, six, and you're only hearing si before the next word. So watch out for that one. Similarly, huit by itself, huit, when you're hearing a time, a date, a street number, a hotel room number, huit is nice and distinctive. When we do a liaison, we just drag that T across. It's still very recognizable. Huit aigles. Huit aigles. Eagles. But when it's followed by a word that starts with a consonant, we will say huit corbeaux. Huit corbeaux. The T sound disappears. So expect to only hear a fraction of this word. To say 8 crows, huit corbeaux. Now for dix. Dix by itself is nice and easy to spot. Dix. When we have a vowel or a word starting with an H, it'll give us 10 oranges. 10 oranges. 10 oranges. When it's followed by a word that starts with a consonant, however, you will only hear a fraction of the word again. 10. 10 pommes. 10 pommes. Pardon. Neuf. Number 9 is also a bit of a challenge. We're used to expecting that F sound at the end. Neuf. Neuf. However, when the word afterwards starts with a H or a vowel, the liaison softens that F into a V because it's easier to get our mouth in position to create a V sound. So we say 9 heures. 9 heures for 9 o'clock. 9 heures. You won't hear an F. So when you read to yourself, when you're practicing by yourself, try and always read it with the right pronunciation to get your brain used to, oh, I'm carrying the F across. I need it to be a soft V, and that will help your brain expect it in a conversation as a V sound. Same with 9 years or 9 years old. 9 ans. 9 ans. The F sound kind of disappears. Then we have number 20. Something a bit different happens. When we say it by itself, we say vingt. Vingt. We only pronounce V-I-N and we have G-T as silent letters. Vingt. Vingt. But when it's followed by a word with a vowel that starts with a vowel, 20 euros, 21. Note that there's no liaison between et, un. Say those separately. 20 euros, 21. 21. Voila. That's all. Oh, I have one more. Cent. I forgot about that one. Cent is pronounced without a T at the end. Cent. So when you hear it, when you see it, you might expect the T to be pronounced, but it's a silent T. Cent for 100 personnes. And with a liaison, 100 euros. 100 euros. Voila. In my Pronounce and Understand French Better course, you can get some more training on how to pronounce everything in French, every single letter, lots of examples, every single combination of sounds, lots of things that cause problem from the saying of things are highlighted, and it's a 12-module program. So over 12 weeks, you'll receive each week 2 lessons, one on pronunciation, one on listening for the same aspect of language. We cover French vowel sounds, verb pronunciations, nasal sounds, and numbers like we covered today in much more detail. The link to join us is frenchpronouncedlisten.gr8, like great.com. Voila. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe to this channel and comment below. Tell me if you like this type of video, what you learned from it, and any further question you might have. I can't wait to see you in the next video. À la prochaine.